Friends, this story is about two men who were frozen many years ago. But one day when they were taken out, they find out that all the men in the world have been wiped out. Everywhere there are only women and only these two men are left among these women. So the story begins in the year 1991. Here we see a press conference that was taking place about human hibernation a century ago. And two men were volunteering in it, Max and Albert. There we see a professor who had made this machine. Then the professor tells everyone that our experiment has been successful. We had put this chimpanzee in that chamber for 6 months and the age of this chimpanzee did not increase at all. On top of that, it is also completely healthy. So the professor now wants to use humans for his next experiment, for which Max and Albert wanted to go inside that machine. The professor says that this time I want to put these three in the machine for 3 years. But this work was very risky because the human body is very different from the body of a chimpanzee. So there may be problems in doing this work. But even after all this, Max and Albert were ready to go in that machine. The machine is turned on and Max and Albert are put inside the machine. Now slowly time passes and 50 years pass by. The machine is opened and Max and Albert are taken out. As soon as they come out, we see that their age has not increased at all. The age at which these two went inside the machine is still the same. Now they were hungry, so 3 girls bring food for them. They had not eaten anything for so many years, so they had forgotten the taste of food. Max says that I had hidden a bottle of liquor and some cigarettes in the machine. And now it's time to take them out. After which he takes out all the stuff and they both start smoking there. But as soon as the smoke spreads there, alarms start ringing everywhere. And everyone thinks that something is going on here. Then 2 women come there and start extinguishing the fire. After a while, a woman named Drive Blonde comes there and tells them that the professor is now dead. Now as soon as they hear this, they both are surprised. Dr. Blonde says that there was a great war here. And in that war, something happened that all the men were killed from the earth. Now only women are left on earth. And you guys are also saved because you were inside this machine. Now hearing this, they both go crazy and start running away from here. But as soon as they touch the door outside, they get a shock of lightning and they fall down. Albert starts thinking about it and says to Max that everything is fine. We have been inside the machine for 50 years, so we feel like this. Max says that you are absolutely right. If there are no men on this earth, then how is our generation moving forward? On the other hand, Drive Blonde was listening to their conversation, and then she replies that children are made from machines here. Now as soon as they hear this, they both get even more surprised. On the other hand, another Dr. Maria comes to Dr. Blonde, and she tells him that you should also talk to the other doctors about your research. You can't do research on both of them quietly. On the other hand, we see Max and Albert. A TV suddenly turns on in their room, and a child is saying something in it. Now seeing this, Max understands that the children who are being born are happening with the help of a test tube. Now hearing this, Max gets sad and says that how can they do this to children? Albert says that a lot has changed in the last 50 years. Nowadays, these women do not even need to be intimate to get pregnant. After which, they both start drinking and become emotional. Then the next morning, as soon as their eyes open, they see Drive Blonde in front of them. She asks them how you both are feeling. Max says that everything is fine now, but it would have been more fun if you had become intimate with me. Now hearing this, Drive Blonde gets angry and throws her down. Seeing all this, Albert says to Max that these women do not know anything about being intimate, so don't talk to them about anything. Then after a while, Drive Blonde brings some guards with her, and tells them that radiation has spread all over the world. And if any person goes out, he dies from radiation. She says that we had an animal who died from radiation. Then they go and check all the animals. And then their leader comes there. Seeing whom, Max is surprised and starts talking to him. He asks him his age. But then a woman tells him that you know what your age is. You both are 86 years old. But Max does not care about these things. And he starts going to the leader. But then all the guards arrest Max and start hitting him. But then the leader tells him to leave him. Max says to him that why are you lying to us? What happened here and where did all the men go? Then the leader tells him that all this is the fault of the professor. He made such a machine that did not increase the age of the men. But later that machine took the lives of all those men. Now hearing this, Albert says that, how can this happen? We are still alive. And if you want, we can help you. You can be intimate with us and have a child. But as soon as the leader hears this, he gets angry. Meanwhile, he sees an apple tree, on which 2 apples were hanging a while ago. But these 2 assholes broke it and ate it. Now seeing this, the leader tells them that you know what happened in the Bible. All this mess happened because of these apples. And you want to start this mess again. After which the leader kills them both like dogs and locks them back in the room. Now Max starts crying here, because he had been beaten by a woman for the first time. But Albert tells him not to worry. We'll get out of here soon. And I'm sure there's a world out there. On the other side, we see Drive, blonde, who is thinking about how to be intimate. Now to find out, she goes to the oldest woman, and asks her how to be intimate. On this, the woman says that when two people love each other, then they both get into each other. And this is called being intimate. And by doing this, you can also have a child. Then she asks him, what are you going to do with them? On which she says that we are going to make them women too. The old woman says that then it will be a bigger punishment than death for them. Then, they are brought to the lab, where they see that women are brainwashed here. And they are told all the wrong things about men. How men used to torture women before. Then they are given to sign each form, on which it was written that experiments will be done on their bodies. But as soon as they read it, they refused to sign the form. Then after a while, the ceiling above them opens, where a lot of women were sitting. Actually, these women had come here to decide what to do with these men. But as soon as they hear this, they both run away from there. Then on the way, they see two women. As soon as they see them, they fall on them and start kissing them. At the same time, all the women decide that now they will do experiments on these two men. On the other hand, they both run down, where they see an underground road, with the help of which they both reach further down. Then as soon as they come out, they find a bottle of liquor lying there. And with it a newspaper too, in which it was written that in 1993 there was an incident in which all the men were killed, but then some guards arrive to catch them. As soon as they see them, they run away from there and come out with the help of a tunnel. Then as soon as they come out, they see a lot of women there who were partying. In fact, these women were rebellious and did not obey the rules of the leader. Now they both were seeing all this. That's when the guards come there and catch them both. At the same time, all the women below are afraid of the guards and start running away from there. Now taking advantage of this fear, Max and Albert also deceive the guards and run away from there. But as they run away, they reach a lift. And there they see Drive, blonde, who scares them both. But then the doctor explains to them that if you go out, you will not survive. On this, they both say that don't make us crazy. That's when Dr. Blonde brings them both to a machine and tells them to look outside. Then by looking at that machine, they find that there is devastation everywhere outside. And no human being can survive outside. In addition to this, the doctor also shows them the radiation outside, that how much is the radiation level outside. And because of this radiation, all the men died. But they both do not believe him and say that we would like to go out and die. Saying this, they leave from there. Then Drive, blonde says that I can't see you dying like this. Saying this, she calls the guards there. Then the guards come there and start taking them away from there. Now they both start abusing Drive, blonde and say that you are a very selfish girl. Then two guards come to Dr. Blonde and tell her that your promotion has been done. In addition, she also tells him that these two men have been declared wanted. And now, soon they will be operated and made a girl. But before this, the doctor needs your research because you have been with them the most. And on the basis of your research, these two will be turned into women. But then we see that Dr. Blonde did not like this thing. And she did not want these two to be turned into women. On the other hand, we see Max and Albert who are taken to the lab. But then they both start shouting that we would like to die instead of becoming women. But those women do not listen to anyone and start taking Max inside. At the same time, Max's eyes fall on his wife, who tells her that when you went into hibernation, you had a baby in my stomach. But you didn't care about me or your baby. Saying which she was going to do his operation. That's when Dr. Blonde comes there. She starts running away from there. But because Albert was given an anesthesia injection, because of which he starts having nightmares and his condition gets worse. Then as soon as he goes up, he sees two guards there, and Dr. Blonde tells them to quickly take off their clothes and give it to these two men. Then they both wear the clothes that were the suits that were safe from radiation. After which she tries to take them out, but the main gate does not open. Dr. Blonde asks the guard why it is not opening, on which they both say that it has a password that only our leader knows. Now seeing this, Max gets angry and starts abusing them. But then suddenly she sees that the door has opened, which meant that the password of the door was abuse. Now the doctor did not want to send them out alone, so she decides that she will also go with them, after which she also wears a suit that is safe from radiation. And the three of them go up. Then they go up and see that there is devastation everywhere, and everything is ruined. But as soon as Max goes ahead, he bumps into a curtain. After which he takes out a knife and cuts that curtain. Then they all come out of that curtain and see that everything is normal outside, and whatever they were seeing till now was all a drama. Then they start roaming around, during which they see a beach, seeing which they are very happy. But after a while, all their oxygen starts to decrease. But then Max takes off his suit and sees that there is no radiation here. Actually, the leader was fooling them. And along with them, the other women also came into his talks. Then a little further ahead, they see a big house. And they go inside that house where they get a lot of food. Then after a while Emma comes there and tells them that you are being arrested. But during this time, the oxygen in his suit starts to run out. And she falls unconscious. There. Then Albert picks her up and takes her inside the house and starts taking off her suit. But then as soon as Emma opens her eyes, she starts screaming at Albert. During this time, she accidentally presses the remote. And then they find out that the leader has spread this rumor everywhere that Dr. Blonde has died, after which 2 women are shown there. And it is said that these 2 are Max and Albert, who have been operated and made a woman. Now these people were seeing all this. That's when they realize that someone is coming from outside, and they hide quickly. Meanwhile, the leader comes there. And then they find out that this house belongs to their leader. But then the leader sees the condition of his house and understands that there is someone else here. Then as soon as she opens the closet, Max and Albert take her hostage. And then they find out that their leader is not a woman but a man. Now they are surprised to see this. And they say to him that what do you want? And why are you doing all this? Then that man tells his whole truth. That 20 years ago I was the only man left on this earth. But all of them were after me to make me a girl. That's why I did my own makeup and became a girl and started living with them. After which I was made the leader of this place. Then Max and Albert tell him that why didn't you tell those women that there is nothing like radiation outside? On this, the leader says that earlier there was a lot of radiation here. But gradually the radiation was ending, but I didn't have the courage to tell them the truth. Because all those women are crazy. After this, Max and Dr. Blonde start getting intimate together. And Albert and Emma also start looking at them. Then the next day they both reach the lab where the children were made. After which, they mix their love in their formula. So that next time when these children are made, all the men are born in them. Similarly, when a nurse sees that boy, she starts screaming loudly. And friends, with this story ends here.